Hello and welcome to Barbarian Law, the YouTube channel. My name is Karim and today we're going to be discussing if we had to move out of Canada, where would we go? So for me, as someone who was born in Toronto, I grew up in Toronto, I'm an Aquarius, so my horoscope affects me more because I grew up in the city that I was born in. So as a Toronto man, I would not go to anywhere in Canada outside of Toronto. So right now I'm living at Yorkville. Bay and Bloor is literally the best part of Toronto. So now I have to think about, okay, if not Toronto, where would we go? So there's obviously a few options that are coming to mind. First things first is the US, right? So the USA has a lot of different cities that are appealing to me, like New York, Miami, Los Angeles. My sister moved to LA. I visited. Don't really like Los Angeles. It's kind of feels like it's on the decline. But other cities like Austin, Texas, you can get a very big house. I've heard for a cheaper price than what we pay for in Canada. So your dollar goes a lot further in the U.S. So another option other than the U.S., if you want to be forward thinking, would be UAE. So UAE would be Dubai or just Dubai. Honestly, for me, it would be just Dubai if I were to move to the UAE. So the good thing about that is like it's kind of a hub in the east. That's a very business centric place where you can get business done. So other options in the east would be the far east, like China. So China has a lot of very big industrial cities like Guangzhou, Shanghai, Beijing. These are cities with more than 10, 15 million people. So you can actually start a business and have a lot of customers, right? When you have an office in Aurora, obviously the target market is much smaller. The demographics of your potential client base is much smaller. So it doesn't really matter where you start a business, but it matters where you end a business. So I started my business in Canada. If it ends up in China, I'll actually be very happy with that. So another option would be Iran. You know, back in the day, Iran was like kind of going to be like the new Dubai back in the 70s, like it kind of on that trajectory. But you know, it's like they kind of lost their potential in some ways. So the currency there is very cheap. So like for $1,000, you can live there for like a month, and you live like a shah, almost like a sultan basically. So I don't know. Like I haven't been to Iran since 2006, but for me, if things change or I could very easily see myself moving back to Iran. So other option other than that would be the Grand Cayman Islands. So Cayman Islands, they're in the Caribbean, and one of the good things about that is you don't pay any taxes. So from my understanding, there's a lot of young people who are working there for accounting and tax firms like KPMG, PwC, all the big four. They're all set up in the Caribbean. So one of the options is in the Cayman Islands. I think for young people to build a life there, if you can go and start living there, you know, it's a good opportunity. Other than that, would be somewhere in South America. So I went to Brazil in 2014 for the World Cup, and I really liked it. The guy I went there to visit with, he ended up moving to Brazil. So it's definitely like I see myself as like I could have moved to Brazil if that happened to me instead. So I think Brazil is also like mixed in with other countries like Argentina, Panama, which are probably more on the tax friendlier side, but it's kind of third world, but it's also up and coming. So Argentina has Javier Milei as the prime minister, the president, and he's actually improving the fiscal situation in the country. Unlike Canada, which seems to like just our fiscal situation just seems to getting worse and worse. Right? We have a lot of immigrants that need housing, but there's not enough jobs to support these high prices of homes. So other issues in Canada would be lack of foresight. Like I've personally voted for Justin Trudeau like every single time, so I can't complain. But I think that the idea of decoupling from the US and trying to forge closer ties with Asia and Europe might be misguided because your biggest trading partner is just right next door to you. So it's very imperative for us to have a good relationship with the US in order for Canada to have a successful economy. So now that I'm starting to think about the political climate, doesn't seem to be getting much better. But if we start thinking about where can we go outside of Toronto, if that had to be the case. So I just want to give you some insight about what my thinking is about where to go if we had to go. But I hope you're interested and leave some comments about where you would like to go if you had to move out of this country. So look how snowy it is outside. Don't blame me.